the phone YouTube, close out any other apps, hit it up on view channel, and there it is. It says we're live. And I'm just going to say a quick hello in the chat. Ask if anyone can hear us and how the sound is. And then mute myself so I can stop hearing myself in my phone. The echo is too much. Hello and welcome. Hey, Jess B. Okay, Jess B says, we hear you well. Kim C says, hey, Kay, what's up? I'm so happy to be here with you guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay. I'm super pumped to be doing this conversation with you guys. Let me see who else is here. Story of My Reality is here. Raven S is here. Hi. This is going to be so much fun. Thanks everybody for being here. All right, cool. If you're joining, if you're open to giving this video a thumbs up, that would be amazing. It definitely helps the content get some circulation and helps people find it who are trying to understand what is this thing? How does it work for me? Jessica Lother, hey, yo, great to have you here. All right, so I'm going to dive in a moment. Let's just see. Okay, so you guys can see the chart. It looks like you just confirmed for me in the chat that y'all can see the chart on YouTube. Let me know. Because as soon as you let me know you can see the chart, then I'm going to dive on in here. Let me go to all messages. There we go. This conjunction is on my natal moon. Big one, Kim C. Big one. Okay. Hey, story of my reality. Awesome to have you. Okay. Thank you, Kristen Day, Jess B. Thank you. Thank you, M. Solomon. Welcome. Pam Anderson. Welcome. Awesome to have you guys. All right, so there's not too much chit chat up front for people who are going to listen to the recording. I'm going to dive right in since our time today is limited. Welcome to our conversation about Chiron conjunct the North Node. This is going to be a fun conversation to share the wisdom and insights of both Chiron and the North Node, which I feel like, there's just not a lot of information out there that people, there's plenty if you go down the astrological rabbit hole, but sometimes the information can be a little confusing. Hey, SO, great to have you. And so this is going to be a fun conversation about it all, because this is one of the top transits of 2024 that I mentioned over on the community page of this channel. I brought this to you guys' attention when I announced it. I've been talking about these major transits in each of the lunar updates, but a couple of days ago, I brought to y'all's attention here when I posted, hey, I'm going to be live to do this Chiron thing. I said to you guys, look, this first half of the year is pretty spectacular in the terms of the rare astrological events that we have going on. We just had Pluto move into Aquarius. The last time Pluto saw this sign was 1776. That was a while ago. And there were a lot of big changes that unfolded in that year collectively, but certainly for those of us who are US based here, energy was felt leading up to it a good decade or more, like 2 or 3 years at least. And then energy was felt after it for about a good 3 or 4 more years. We've got Chiron conjunct the North Node in Aries, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you missed it, I did do a Pluto in Aquarius for all 12 signs. That's on the YouTube channel here. Chiron conjunct the North Node. This took place in February, but the energy is still ripe and potent right now. The last time the two of them were conjunct in the sign of Aries specifically was 1969. Some of you weren't even born then. Some of you were barely adults then. We have an eclipse season, which is the Aries-Libra eclipse cycle. Last time we had the nodes on the Aries-Libra eclipse axis was 2014, but it was North Node Libra then. It would have been 18 years ago that it was North Node Aries. So this is also a very rare and special energy. Hey, Kylie, great to have y'all. Hey, yellow jelly bean. And this year we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus. The last time we had that was April and May, or it's going to be April and May this year. Last time was 1858. Y'all, this is we're breathing rarefied astrological air going on here. And because this stuff is so rare, I'm gonna try and do my best to make sure I get like a live for each of these for us so you know how it's gonna play out. But if you missed the Pluto live and you happen to be catching the recording of the Chiron live because you missed that as well, my strong recommendation to you is going to be subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that when I go live and do these special previews, like here's what it is, here's what it means, you don't miss anything else. I think you're going to want to catch these long before the algorithm gives them some traction. You're going to want to catch them when I go live. As I said in that post, the initial impact of each of these will be felt for months before and after, but the life-changing impact for us on each of these is going to be felt for years. Like I said, it's going to be my intention to cover each of them and give you the best intel I can so that you can use this energy to your advantage. It's a big year for major changes for all of us. And I'm talking quitting entire careers that people spent years learning how to do, moving into new industries, starting a business. I've spoken to two people who've worked either in corporate, government, or the educational system. And they're both like, yep, I'm about to become a farmer just in this week alone. Um, I'm talking about leaving your home and traveling the world. I've been hearing a lot of that. Buying land with four of your closest friends and opening up a retreat center for alternative and healthy living and organic farming. I'm talking this level of change is what's unfolding in people's life. Wow is right, Mandy Lynn. Wow is right. The things you all tell me you're getting up to in our private one-on-one readings are amazing. It makes me so inspired and so proud and so happy that I can contribute like a sliver of encouragement, guidance, and direction in your life stream's journey. So if you want to put in the chat some of the changes you're making this year, or in the comments if you're catching the replay, it may just inspire someone who's on the cusp of taking their leap of faith or give them the confirmation that they've been looking for as a sign from the universe, from God, from spirit, that they're on the right path. And it's okay. Now's a really good time to take that step, make that leap. So, my moderators and I, just so you all know, work very hard to keep the comment section a safe space and the chat a safe space for inspiration, personal growth, sharing, free of bashing, free of negativity, and free of complaining. So I want you to feel free to share. The more you share, the more upliftment and inspiration there is for everyone. So like if you're putting something negative in the chat or in the comment section, complaining or bashing yourself, even, we'll delete that. We don't want anyone thinking about you like that, sending that kind of energy to you, because we know we all have low moments, but we don't need those amplified through the collective consciousness. We want to send you good vibes. All right. So if you missed it, we talked about Pluto moving into Aquarius a couple weeks ago. Like I said, if you missed the post that I just showed, I suggest you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. so that everything you want to see, you catch it all and you're not left out. I don't want to leave you out. And stick with me today until the very end because we're going to get into some live Q&A about this energy for each of the signs. And today we are joined. Normally, you guys can see the little logo at the bottom of the YouTube screen. Normally, it's just me solo rocking it out here. But a small enclave of some of the initial joiners to a new program I'm launching have joined me live in the YouTube room for some dialogue, chat, and communication about this. If you know about that program, definitely recommend you sign up. Spots are going fairly quickly. However, if you're new and you're like, what's she talking about? I'm going to let you in on that so you don't miss that either. Okay. All right. Here's what we're about to do. First things first, I'm going to give you an overview of the meaning of both the North Node and Chiron and show you how to find them both in your chart. Then I'm going to walk you through what it means when they come together because it's special, it's rare, like I just said. And I want you to know what this means so that when it happens again in the future, because it will in your lifetime, they'll come together. Maybe not now. It might be like a couple decades or a little less than that. It'll happen again, but you'll at least know, oh, this is what I'm up against. This is what's happening. Next, we'll do a little check-in to see how this is tracking with your experiences in real time. I love it when we get to do some live interaction together and I get to hear your experiences. And then the fourth thing we're going to do together today is I'm going to introduce you to the best way to learn, share, and practice astrology, which is perfect for everyone who learns by seeing, touching, doing, just like I do. I'm sure you'll have questions for me. In the interest of time, I won't be able to answer in depth the way I want to and the way you need me to, as I would in a full class like Star School 301 or North Node Mastery. But don't worry, if you're loving what you're hearing, I'm going to give you a way to have access to more information about the North Node and Chiron before we're done today. Fifth thing we're going to do, I'm going to walk you through impact for all 12 signs. So you want to listen there specifically for your rising sign. You want to also be listening for your sun sign. You'll feel impact in both places. And if there's anyone you know or love, just whose life you're involved in, like your kids or, maybe your sister or your brother, and they may be struggling right now, you want to be keeping an ear out for their rising sign and their sun sign so that if they should they turn to you for guidance and advice or just to talk to you about what's going on in their life, trust me, they probably will. You're armed with information that can help empower them. And then finally, we'll do some live Q&A. So stick with me till the end because if you have questions or want to hear more specifically about how this will impact you personally, we'll get into the details at the tail end of our live today. So let's start by talking about the North Node. So I'm going to point that out here in this chart so you all can see it. Some of you might need to zoom in, but here's the North Node. I'm going to draw a box around it so you can see it. The North Node is a mathematically sensitive point. Anytime you're looking at it in an astrology chart, it looks like a horseshoe that has the open part facing down and the hump part facing up. Okay. That's the North Node in your astrology chart. And so if you need a chart, you can always head on over to kmoonastro.com. Up at the top in the menu bar, there's something called birth chart. You can put in your details, you can grab a birth chart, and then follow along as we go. Okay. You'll often hear about the North Node talked about as destiny, a career path, a mission, or a purpose. But in the way that I read, it's a little different than a lot of other astrologers. And I for sure know that they're all right, but I want to add for you an additional interpretation that I've seen play out with astounding accuracy that's incredibly empowering for all of my clients and students. across many readings and even in my own life, I've seen that the North Node is less about destiny or purpose and a lot more about your lifelong lesson or your soul contract regarding the life actions that you must take to evolve your spirit in this lifetime. If you think of Earth as a school, many of us do. When we go to school, we're going to learn about the things we haven't learned about or develop accuracy and skill in areas of life where we may be underdeveloped. We want to develop more. Earth School, the class you're in right now in your life on Earth School or in Earth School is the North Node in your natal chart, house and sign placement. Okay. That house and sign placement is going to tell you specifically there's leadership here for you. Yes. And I think that's what a lot of people think about when they think about the North Node, how you're meant to, from a purpose perspective, help people. But more than even the leadership, there's a lesson here. And this is why the North Node can be difficult to access, difficult to understand, difficult to implement around. It is, of all of the muscles in our physical body, it's our weakest muscle. It's the reason why we go to the gym. I'm sure you guys have seen people at the gym, if you've ever gone and worked out, people who are all muscles on the biceps and the arms, but then they have these little bitty toothpick legs. These are people who have been skipping leg day. North Node is the prescription for leg day for those people, if you want to think about it like that. The game board of life, I'm mixing a lot of metaphors here, or the school of life here in Earth School, I have noticed it's set up to reward us when we take North Node actions and behaviors, even if we're a little bit fumbly with them. And life gets more complicated when we avoid our North Node. Okay. And just stick around in our South Node. South Node is a bit more like those biceps that are big and, explosive. Those people at the gym, they've got strong biceps. We all have strong biceps where our South Node is. It's what we came with mastery with. We're already good at. Now, I'm not going to be able to talk to you about the South Node today. We just don't have enough time. But if you like what you're hearing and you're vibing with it, I do have a way for you to dive in for more, and we'll talk about that shortly. Now, in the charts that I've read and in my own life, I've noticed that when you've hit a challenging time, when things are not going your way, and everything seems to be going wrong at once, or when you seem to be getting the worst of every transit. And those of you who've stuck with me for a while, you know my story. I hit one of those periods almost a decade ago. It was right before I came into my own as an astrologer, and like everything went wrong. What I learned through that period of time is that the North Node in my chart functioned like a key that unlocked the door to solving all of the problems that unfolded for me at that time. Now, it was crazy because the problems weren't necessarily related except through my North Node. And you'll really start to understand that when you understand your North Node. As a quick example, in my life, I had been diagnosed with a health issue, two health issues actually. I had some fibroid tumors and I got diagnosed with a thyroid disorder. I ran into some problems in my business where I made a pivot too quickly in terms of my brand and my voice, and like didn't grow my audience for that. And so like nobody bought anything. No money in the business meant no money for rent. No money for rent meant I had to move in with my parents in my 30s. That was a trip. I moved in with my parents, which meant they were states away from where I was living, which meant that I lost the community that I had in my locality. Health issues, business and money stuff, lost my home. If that wasn't bad enough, the boyfriend that I had at that time broke up with me. He was a long distance boyfriend, moved across the country to where I normally was living to be with another girl. That stung. And then it just gets better. It just kept getting better for me. I lost both of my mother's parents, my grandparents, within 90 days of one another. So that year, it was literally like every 60 days, there was something painful and challenging going on. On top of all of that, that was the year I also discovered I owed the IRS $60,000 and just didn't have it because my business wasn't making any money. Talk about a whopper of a year. That was a banger. And so my North Node sits in the sign of Virgo, which deals with extended family, deals with health and well-being, deals with details and minutia, like filing your taxes, details, priorities in a business, deals with structure, patterns, and routines, like growing your audience to grow with you in a business. I had been completely ignoring Virgo in my chart. I wanted nothing to do with that sign. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I thought it was uncomfortable, but everything Virgo required that year came home to roost for me. And I had to grow in Earth School Gym and my North Node Virgo and my capacity to handle Virgo things. The more I acted in a Virgoan way, the faster things got resolved for me. And so in your natal chart, your North Node is going to reveal for you the thing that is going to resolve a lot of challenges and problems when you learn how to work with it. Okay. So that's just the natal chart. The more we resist our North Node, as I had been doing for years prior to that point, the more complicated life seems to get. And like I said, the sign in the house of the North Node is the overarching lesson that we're meant to learn in our lives. Now, in this way, I want you to think of the North Node as a key. It unlocks the doors of life's challenges when we use it. Okay. So we're going to look at just a couple of quick examples from some celebs that I have pulled for us. Let's just talk about kind of an obvious one. We all saw on the world stage some of the more painful lessons that one Mr. Johnny Depp had to walk through a couple years ago. We see here his North Node is inside of Cancer here. And it's in his 12th house. 12th house is intuition, Cancer is emotions. Had the man listened to his own intuition and his emotions about the situation he was walking into with Amber Heard, it may not have gotten so bad. You guys starting to follow? You seeing how that emerges and how that works together? Let's look at another example. We also have one Mr. Ben Affleck. Let's take a look. He's one of the Hollywood A-list actors. We know he has struggled with alcohol. Mr. Ben Affleck's North Node is here in the sign of Capricorn. And it's at the tail end of his 7th house of committed partnership. What do we know about what he just did? He just got married a second time to Jennifer Lopez. What does he need in his life? Structure. He needs structure, continuity, consistency, all the things that Capricorn deals with, and commitment. One of the things that he worked on committing to is his own sobriety. And he's had a challenge with that. But commitment is the thing that is really going to help unlock a lot of the problems in his life. Certainly a partner, yes, but balancing things out, making things even, paying attention to the fine print in contracts, and simultaneously committing to himself, finding a structure for himself. That is also going to seriously help Mr. Ben Affleck with some of the challenges he's experienced in life. Let's get one last example here. Let's dive into one Mr. Prince Charles. We all know he has been in the news Due to some health issues, some health challenges, we see here his north node is in the sign of Taurus. What is Taurus all about? Valuing the self. It's about your values, your self-worth, your self-esteem, desire, pleasures, but also taking care of your life force energy. The more he does this, the better things tend to work out for him in his life. We certainly see it here in the 10th house. So this is also about preservation and longevity in his career, making sure that he's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to any changes he might want to make, finding some stability and some pride in the way that his role has positioned him on the public stage. If any of you guys watched The Crown on Netflix, you know that things were not always that easy for him in that arena. So now you guys have some examples. If you guys want to put here in the chat, where is your North Node in your chart? Tell me what house and what sign. Drop it in the chat so we can all see. I see here, Jessica, yes, it's the North Node by transit. It's still conjunct Chiron, and we're going to get into the transiting meaning in a moment, but we needed to start with the meaning in the birth chart first, okay? Kylie says, none of this is surprising. Bud Island says, hiya from Vancouver Island. Welcome. Great to have you. Misty Joe is also a Virgo North Node, just B, 10th house Cancer. We have someone who has North Node in the 10th house, Gemini 10th house for Raven, Aquarius for Miss Myland. Love it. Allison is 4th house Libra. Melissa Paquin is also Virgo, but the 3rd house, North Node, and Taurus are both in the 2nd house for Chantel. Great. Thank you guys for sharing. So yeah, wherever the house and the sign of your North Node is the lesson you came here to learn here on planet Earth. Okay. For many of you, your lesson is indeed going to be tied up with your 10th house of career and your visibility in the world, but not for all of you. Now that we know that what the North Node means in our natal charts, let's talk about the transiting North Node. So the transiting North Node is the natal North Node is where the North Node would have been at the moment of your birth. If we had looked up in the sky, taken a snapshot, the constellation at the moment of your birth where the North Node was is your natal North Node and your lifelong lesson. But we also have collective lessons and cycles and seasons that we move through, and those are indicated by the transiting North Node. The nodes of the moon change signs roughly every 18 months, and their movement through the signs indicates the focus of collective growth and collective lessons. And the sign points to a theme we'll all have to work through for that 18-month period. And so right now we have North Node had entered Aries a while ago last year. We see here the North Node here. We see that symbol for the ram. Looks like that. Next to it, here's that red fire sign Aries where the North Node is sitting at this time. Tends to be in one sign for roughly 18 months, not always, okay? In the sign of Aries, the growth, the lesson of the North Node is all about ambition, drive, passion, initiative. It's also about our selfhood and our identity. And so North Node in Aries is pulling us, pushing us, poking us, prodding us, dragging us to have a good look in the mirror, deal with who we actually are and our identity, figure out who we are not, and start to shed all of those things and embrace more of our own unique individuality. And specifically because Aries is about forward movement in its neutrality. Now, there's some shadow stuff you've heard about Aries. It's all about war. That's a shadow side. Every sign, every planet has shadow, and it also has light. It also has neutrality. In its neutrality, Aries is just forward movement. It's movement marching forward. It's momentum. It's the capacity to have a compass that directs you. Now, with the North Node in Aries in the light, we're definitely talking about the light side of movement, which is ambition. It's that drive to succeed and thrive. In the shadow, yes, we're talking about war. Um, doesn't have to be about war. You personally, you're not making a war. You're here on this YouTube, right? So we get the choice to operate in light or to operate in shadow. Okay, so the North Node is inviting us to deal with our selfhood, our identity, our ambitions, our passions, and our drives. And this is why we're also seeing, I talked about a lot of this on the Pluto Aquarius live stream. I talked about a lot of this then, that there's a lot of changes happening in the world of career and work as Pluto leaves the sign that deals with career and work. That's Capricorn. It's left that and moved into Aquarius. But that is coinciding this North Node in Aries saying, some of you know this quote. If you know the quote, put it in the chat. Who are you and what do you want? Really fun quote there. If you know what it is, I'd love to hear it in the chat. But this is what this time period is all about. Okay. Now, for you personally, you can get even more specific by locating the house that Aries governs in your chart. That's the house where you'll have to focus on the collective North Node lesson. Now, again, we'll see people who are doing this thriving during this season, and people who are not doing this, focusing on the North Node, actually really struggling during this season. If they're trying to avoid that, you will see some consequences for avoiding that. Now, it's okay if you don't know what house in your chart. Stick with me until the end when I go through each of the rising and sun signs. Listen for your rising sign, and I'll break down where your focus is. Okay. Now, let's talk about Chiron. So, here, I'm going to draw it out, give you a bigger version. Whenever you're looking for Chiron in the chart, it is a K for K moon. No, just kidding. It's for Chiron. And it's got a little circle on the bottom. That's the symbol for Chiron. Okay. Sometimes the circle's big, sometimes it's tiny. Chiron is right here next to the North Node in Aries. Okay. And this is a theme or an energy that is coloring where we have been in the last, I would say, 3 to 4 months, and the next maybe 2.5 months. It's kind of like a 5 month window where we are dealing with these themes, where we're being pulled to deal with the Aries themes, specifically as it pertains to Chiron's energy in Aries. Okay. Now, without getting into the full mythology of Chiron, I'm going to bullet point for you the 5 things that Chiron represents so that you can begin making some connections for yourself about his influence in your life. Okay. Let's start with where Chiron came from. Chiron came from kind of a different place than all of the other centaurs. By birth, we see he's not like them. He was fathered by the Titan, Saturn, Cronus, when Cronus pretended to be a horse to sleep with and then go on to impregnate a nymph named Philyra. Hilarious. I don't support the bestiality, but I see the Titans got down like that. While other centaurs didn't have Titan parentage, Chiron did. A Titan is one of the original gods of Mount Olympus. And this lets us know that Chiron is half divine to begin with. Okay. Now, here's the meaning of that. I want you guys to write this down for yourself. Chiron represents my divine nature. Okay. That's the first thing that Chiron represents. I want you to write this down. None of y'all know that quote. I asked if you knew. Nobody knew that quote. I'm so bummed. Nobody knows that quote. I'm checking in our Star Club chat just to see if anyone here in our group knew that quote, but it doesn't look like it. Nobody knows that quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. Okay. So here's the second thing you need to know about Chiron. Chiron was taken in actually Chiron was second thing is Chiron was rejected by his own mom. She was repulsed by giving birth to half nymph, half centaur. It was her shame and disgust, her issues, not his, at not wanting to be made fun of or rejected that set up the energy of dealing with belonging wounds to begin with where it comes to Chiron. So here's the second thing you want to write down about Chiron. Chiron represents the part of you that is different in such a way that it could be rejected by people you love because you are different. Write that down. Chiron in your chart can also represent rejection, where you are rejected. Many of you who have the Chiron in the fourth house or Chiron in Cancer can feel like the black sheep of your families. Okay. Third thing Chiron represents. Chiron represents I talked about that. Third thing, this lends itself to the next part of Chiron's story. Chiron was taken in by the god Apollo and taught the arts of medicine, divination, music, and archery. It was here that Chiron's life was turned all the way around. We see Chiron becoming educated, a learned student, a well-rounded thinker, and an intellectual. First thing star thumbs is divinity. He was also taught hunting by Apollo's twin sister Artemis, and hunting is a skill that requires patience, stillness, observation, attention to detail to achieve our goals. So this lends Chiron in your chart to be also representing. Here is the fourth thing with Chiron. Your intellectual prowess, the place in your chart where you have the ability to be not just a student of life, but also a learned master. It's also the place where you may find mentors who can support your growth in lieu of any people who rejected you belonging to that house. All right. Now, number 5. So, fourth thing was intellectual prowess. Let's talk about number 5. Our Chiron placement, it's indicative our intuition as well, not just our intellect, but also our intuition. Okay. Chiron was known to be a respected oracle and interpreter of the signs, the stars, astrology, and the omens. In addition to being a learned healer who understood how to use herbs and salves to heal the sick and the wounded. And this is how we end up getting the thing that's one of the things that survived about Chiron is the healer part, but there's all this other stuff to it. He wasn't just a healer. He was educated. He was an intellectual. People sought him out for this intellect and his education. Okay. But given all of this, unfortunately, the thing we most notably associate Chiron with is his death. I can think of some religious and political figures that this relates to, which is unfortunate because their life was far more interesting than their death. While Chiron lived many years as a legendary teacher and mentor to many of the high heroes of Greek mythology, Heracles, aka Hercules, Jason of Argonaut fame, Odysseus, Perseus, the son of Zeus, known for beheading Medusa, the Gorgon, among others. Chiron educated all of them before they went on their journeys. They met up with Chiron and said, yo, bro, I'm about to go out here and do this impossible thing. What do I need to know? And Chiron told them, here's how you thrive, not just survive this. So Chiron is where you have that same sort of mastery and influence for other people as well. Okay. Um, Although this was all of who Chiron was, much of this was overshadowed by his death, as I said. Now, our Chiron placement indicates where we have the ability to help others grow and become better people. And it's where you're meant to lead the pack, not be a part of it. It's where you have needed to learn more than what the average person would have needed to learn, and where ultimately you lead other people beyond their mediocrity. Should you choose to learn from your own life and study in the master class of you. Now, Chiron's death is where we get introduced to the wound part of the wounded healer. But mind you, the majority of his life wasn't about wounding, it was about the healing. The better name for Chiron is the healer of wounds rather than the wounded healer. It's such a shame to me that this one moment overshadow his years of scholarly and intuitive leadership. So in the mythology, it's told that Chiron is shot accidentally, poison arrow, by a friend and one of his students. We see this is where we see the wound becoming part of the conversation. The wound causes Chiron so much pain, but his immortality means that he can't die. He has to live in pain. A deal is struck where Chiron is allowed to exchange his immortality with that of Prometheus, one of the folks he educated, who's presently being punished for having given human beings the gift of fire. So Prometheus is going through this exacting punishment. Chiron says, why don't I give him my immortality? It's a win-win. Prometheus gets freed. He goes on, and Chiron gives up the pain that he would have had to have lived with forever. And that he gave up his defining attachment to earth. We could see this as an ego death. It is where we, in our charts, are willing to become anything, do anything, learn anything, sacrifice everything to be able to release the pain of that which plagues us. And it's this, our willingness to go to extremes so that we can be free, that allows us to be at our most powerful in the placement of our Chiron. So those of you, like I said, who have that Chiron in the fourth house or in Cancer, and it's like the family thing has always been an issue for you, you are meant to heal them. This is why it's been what it's been. This is what allows us to truly inhabit our divine nature, our willingness and our ability to let go of our earthly attachment, our ego structure, because they're too painful to hold on to. So when Chiron and the North Node come together, which they did this year, when these two things come together, they came together in the sign of the Aries, the sign of our selfhood and our identity, we get a pull from the North Node to learn about all 5 of the themes of Chiron in the sign that the North is in. Now, there's a whole lot more about Chiron in the North Node that I cannot teach you today. The full Master Your Chiron Wound workshop that teaches you how to transcend the wound itself and step into your leadership and be a healer is about 4 hours. The full course on the North Node Mastery is a total of 5 classes that are about an hour-ish each. I am sure you're going to love all 34 hours of that content. I would just need to give it to you in a more bite-sized dose because otherwise YouTube would cut me off. So if you're already getting some resonance to this, definitely let me know in the chat. Are you starting to make some connections or some aha moments and light bulbs going off in your life? Let me know. I would love to hear it in the chat. I see here third eye therapy is Pisces rising with Chiron and Cancer in the fourth. Yeah. M. Solomon has Chiron in the natal second. We're going to get to that. I am now a family astrologer, Chiron in the fourth. Yes, third eye therapy. I help my clients heal family wounds. Woohoo! Yes, Mylan says it's a fantastic course. Thank you, Mylan. Welcome, SKFA 45 from Ohio. Great to have you. Amazing. So you guys really got this. You guys are starting to see the resonance. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. We are about to do, we're going to get into in a moment some more specifics about how this breaks down in your specific chart. Um, but I want to make sure that you guys are starting to see it like, oh, this is about wounds to my selfhood, Aries, wounds to my ambition, Aries, places where I've been rejected for my identity, Aries, places where my divine nature, I need to bring it out so I can step into leadership, Aries, lead the pack, don't follow it, be the first out in front, Aries, not the last or the tail. You guys starting to kind of get how all of this is coming together and thematically in your own lives and starting to see this stuff. Um, because anything that has come up, I'm going to say in the last 6 months that have had you all feel like something's wrong with me, everybody else is getting this, not me. I don't know how to do this. Like other people seem to be racing ahead in their lives, and I'm just kind of back here trying to figure certain things out. Like if you're looking in the mirror in your life and you're going, oh my gosh, like how am I going to figure this out? I have to grow in this area. This is the pull of Chiron in the North Node in the sign of Aries. Chiron and the North Node together are trying to evolve us all, move us all beyond rejection and into light and leadership. Y'all got it? Y'all get it? Let me know in the chat. Because if you're like, we're getting the invitation with these two to move into our divinity, reject rejection, deal with it so it's no longer holding us back, step into our intelligence, step into our intuition, step into our leadership. We're also being called to like really figure out some of the sacrifices that we have to make in our ego structure so our spirit can live on in its divinity. Let me know in the chat and the comments what's resonating for you so I can connect with where you guys are. Mylan says so much stepping up. Yeah. Pam Anderson says yes. Star Traveler says yes. I get the target signs from Third Eye Therapy. Very good. So if you're ready to step into some greater divinity in your life, type in I'm in or I'm ready in the chat. If you're ready to release rejection as the story of your life in any area, family, work, friends, type in I'm in. I'm releasing it in the chat. If you're ready to lead and show the world your intelligence and intuition, because a lot of you here in this chat right now, some of you guys are some of the most intuitive people I've ever met. Like you're more intuitive than me. I sit down and read with you and I'm like, whoa, like I look at your charts and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why are you asking me to read for you? Your 12th house is stacked. Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, stacked. You're more intuitive than anyone I've ever met. Can you read me? Like, if you know that's you and you're done hiding it because it's made you different, type in I'm in, I'm ready to shine. We are so much bigger than what we have been taught, so much more capable than what we've been led to believe. And we have so much more to offer the world than what we've been told is our place that we should stay in. This North Node Chiron conjunction is opening up the possibilities of you stepping into your trailblazing and your leadership era, the era where you come out of the shadows of feeling like you don't belong and into the light with your tribe and the people who need you. Jason, Heracles, Prometheus, Odysseus, Like these different people who go on these epic journeys that the world writes stories about, and they're like stuck in the mythology for all of us. Chiron touched every single one of their lives before they became what we knew them to be. Your Jason, your Hercules, your Odysseus, your Prometheus are waiting for you to take your place and pursue your ambitions. That's Aries. Pursue your drives so that they can do great things because you've stepped into your greatness. I want you guys to think back to a turning point moment in your life where you had a decision to make, a choice to go bigger or bail, an opportunity to step up or sit it out, a chance to go for it or go home. I want you to take a moment and just close your eyes and think about that turning point, that choice, the day you made the decision. I want you to think about that. In those moments in our lives, there's usually at least one person, if not a small tribe, that has our back and says, go for it. I'm with you. No matter how this goes, we're cheering for you. We believe in you. We know you have it in you to get to the next level. You're already there. You just need to walk across the threshold. For some of you, that person was one of your teachers. For others of you, it was a parent. For others of you, it was your best friend or that coworker who was not afraid to be different with tons of bobbleheads and crazy hats that they wore to work every day. But for all of us, there has at some point in our life been that one person who believed in us so that we could go further, have more, and give ourselves the chance to be more. If you know who that person was, put it in the chat. For some of you, it was your mom. For some of you, it was your dad or a sibling. For some of you, it was a grandparent and they're no longer here. But if you know who that person was, definitely put that person in your chat with an aho. We honor them. We thank them for being our Chiron. That person who has been your Chiron, you wouldn't be who you are today without them. Now, I want you to think about what your life would have been like if they never did that for you. Yeah, Sue Erie, it's her brother. Yeah. For some of us, it is a sibling. That was all we had. Taria Michelle, it was her brother too. Yeah. Younger or older, sometimes it is our siblings who have our back even more than our own parents. For Chantel, it's her mom's boyfriend. Allison found it in her higher self. Jessica Grants, who moved on. Oh, yeah, we honor them. We honor our Chirons. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mylan had a soul brother who was a turning point for her. Sometimes family isn't even blood, but those are the people who stand closest to us. Yeah, very good, guys. Very good. Pam's being her own Chiron, and this is what we're all invited to be at this time. I want you to think about what your life might have been like if they never stepped into owning who they were enough to encourage you to be who you are. If those people never stepped up to guide, to lead, if those people never stepped up to teach or coach, where would you be if they hadn't encouraged you or gave you a little piece of information that was the turning point or educated you or just held your hand as you stepped into you 2.0? I need you to really consider where you would be today if you had not taken that Aries ambitious risk and gone after that job, that business, that partner, that business opportunity. Would you be more lonely? Would you have less money? Would you still be living back home? Maybe your parents' basement, like I was, or your car? Is it possible that you'd still have that same job you had straight out of high school? Or that you never would have gotten that raise, that you planted a flag in the ground and said, I'm owed this? If that person hadn't stepped up, would you have declined going to that school, getting that degree? Think about where your life would be if that person had not shown up. I'm asking you to think about this because with all of these transits happening, we cannot continue to play the small game, guys. Not only can we just not afford it, there is a Jason, a Prometheus, a Hercules, an Odysseus that's waiting on you to step up. That person who stepped into their person and changed your life, I want you to know, in case no one ever tells you this again, you are that person for somebody else. And in your lifetime, you don't have to be known for your wounding. You can be known for your wisdom. You are the healer and the breakthrough people are looking for. You're the one that will tell them they can do it, that they're made for it, that even if it's hard, they deserve to give themselves a chance anyway, that they can bet on themselves, that they are worth the investment, that they are worth the risk. That place where Chiron sits in your chart that we're going to get into talking about in a moment, where it's meeting the North Node this year, you are the guiding light to the people attached to those houses. And not only can you discover more about how to step up with teaching them, guiding them, encouraging them once you know their astrology, but you can also step up when you know your own astrology and who you're meant to be. You can help anyone, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, but especially if you're already a coach, a healer, a therapist, or a reader, this chart wheel and knowing this information here, it can take your life, your healing, your ability to help people to the next level by helping you identify the energetic blocks that people may have through resisting. Remember when I talked about the North Node? When we resist it, our life gets harder and we create our own blocks. But when you know how to look for this stuff, your life can get easier and you can help other people's lives get easier and help them release the blocks too. So I want to tell you, I know I said there's a lot more I could say here. This is the moment in time where I invite you to take the next step and step into your leadership era for Chiron so you can be known not for your wounding, but instead for your wisdom. This is why I'm inviting you now to join Star Club, a 12-week astrology community where you can learn, practice, and share astrology with other astro lovers. So I'm going to paste this link inside the YouTube chat for you. When you get it, I want you to take a look at the page while you're listening. Okay, Kylie, if you could use that link and share that link with folks, that would be great. This 12-week dedicated community is where you can get access to my foundational course, Star School 101 Astro Basics. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you access to two of my most popular courses and workshops, How to Master Your Chiron Wound and the Timing of Twin Flame Union workshop. I know a lot of you were wanting to redo those, revisit those. You've emailed me about it. I'm including them in Star Club for you. Each week, I'm going to be live with you in something called an Astro Chat on Thursdays, which will be recorded. So, of course, you can listen at your convenience. But Astro Chat is going to be our time together to look at the stars, look at charts, and for you to get coaching, guidance, and direction, or to just have me break down a chart of someone you love, your friend, your twin, your mom, your dog. If that's the person you love, you want to get into pet astrology, it's a growing field. You can absolutely build that by working in Star Club. We're going to dissect the astrology influencing current events in our world as well, celebrities and politics, so you can understand why astrology works the way it does and sharpen your skills at helping others. Y'all remember when I pulled up that chart of Johnny Depp and we saw his North Node all about learning how to honor his intuition and deal with his emotions. Had he done that, his life might have taken a completely different direction, but instead he learned the hard way. That's fine. But your life can get easier when you understand the basics and foundations of your chart. Further, in the community, you're going to have a chance to grab a Star School homework partner. So, if you like learning together, you'll get both Star School and you'll get a homework partner. And you can set up time to watch a class, complete the homework together. And then, in addition to that, you'll also be able to swap readings and throw up a chart and get a slew of feedback from other members of the community with intel. If you're like, you know what? My twin flame has a Virgo Venus, and I don't get it. Everyone here with a Virgo Venus or who has ever interacted with someone with a Virgo Venus, talk to me, help me understand. And you can be one of those contributors. You step into your Chiron for other people. Or if you're curious, like, how does that Sag rising thing works? I don't get it. You can get that feedback from other people. The next 14 spots, some of them have already been sold out, but the next 14 spots only are going to come with a chance to be able to get a hot seat with me, a 20-minute Astro hot seat. Now, Astro hot seats are your chance to have me read your chart. I'll read your counterpart or your twin flames chart. I have retired that from doing that publicly, but I'll do it during Star Club. I'll read your family's chart, your friend's chart. I'll read your pet goldfish's chart. Or you can pick my brain about running an astrology business, getting direct feedback, instruction, coaching about how you can get your business off the ground. Alternatively to that, you can use your 20 minutes to bring a chart that you read, and I will coach you how to read it, how you're reading it, and what you're seeing so that you can take your own skills to the next level as a reader. I love this program for you because it combines the absolute best of my content, my most popular course and workshops, learning by doing and talking, not just listening to digital content, but actually interacting with a community, real time practice with a community of other astrology lovers, and weekly time with me to integrate your learning, ask your questions, and learn from your fellow Star Club members. Now, you can join this dedicated 12-week community for 3 installments of $397. That's the easiest way to join, which in comparison to what it costs to access everything separately, especially given how much time you're going to get with me, 90 minutes a week, this is a ridiculously low investment. And when you join as a healer, a coach, a reader, or a therapist who uses astrology in a business, or you're learning how to use astrology in your business, your payment counts towards your business's expenses. So it's completely tax deductible for you as part of your education this year. But I'm going to give you an even better deal. When you sign up now and decide to invest in full, I'll give you the total package, which I did the math somewhere down here. It comes out to especially with the time that you're going to get with me, if you were to book 18 hours worth of lifetime coaching with me, that would be $4,320 for 18 total hours. Instead of doing that, you can pay $997 when you invest in full. And that will allow you to get access to all of this for the 12-week program. But the 14 spots that include the hot seat with me, those are going to go rather quickly. So I recommend you book yours to guarantee that you get one. Now, I've had a lot of people since last November when I launched Star School last email me and say, look, Kate, I've done 101. I want to move forward. I want to move up. I need access to 201 Twin Flame Astrology, which is $222, or 301 North Node Astrology, which is a longer course and $277. If you're one of those people, then this is your lucky day. Tonight, when we are done here, I am going to go in to Star Club and I'm going to add instant access to all three Star School courses. So you'll get 101, 201, and 301. When they are sold separately, all of them, it's much closer, like 222 for 101, 277 for 201. That adds up to 499. Then you get, but you don't get weekly time with me with that. With Star Club, you will. Okay. Over the course of the 12 weeks. So I want you to go to this link. I want you to sign up now. Get your spot now so that you can get one of those 20-minute hot seats. Okay. We start next Wednesday. The community is open now. There are already members of the community jumping in, introducing themselves. You can sign up for $397 and you'll get access to the entire suite of all of Star School. You'll get the timing of union workshop. You're also going to get the How to Heal Your Chiron Wound workshop and 12 weeks, 18 hours of live Q&A with me for $997 or just $397 a month. So I really want you there. This is an awesome opportunity to learn in community and learn by doing rather than just listening to digital content by yourself. Okay. So let's move into how this is going to impact each of the 12 signs as you each step into your Chiron era. Okay. And by Chiron, we are not talking about the wound. We are talking about the healer, the educator, the one who provides the intuition and the intellect for everyone. This is your opportunity to step into your Chiron era. So let's get into all 12 signs. After we do all 12 signs, I'm going to stop for Q&A. There's some Star Club members with me here live in the Zoom room. They're going to chat with me. You'll get a chance to hear what we talk about and how we roll in Star Club. And if you want to join, sign up with that link and you'll be part of the next Astro chat. Okay. So let's get into all 12 signs. Enrollment does close this coming Wednesday, so 6 days from now. Make sure that you sign up today if you want to lock in one of those spots that comes with the hot seat, the 20-minute Astro hot seat with me. Okay, so let's see here. If you have the North Node and Chiron conjunct here in the sign of Aries, let's talk about that for you. Who are my North Node Aries people inside this chat? Let me know. You guys are going to be working on doing leadership and stepping into who you are as a unique self. Your leadership and transcendence is going to be all about your identity and owning who you are and releasing all the ways you've attempted to fit in with other people, be what other people want, operate with what other people need, and be other people's kind of person. Your job in this Aries North Node season is to take ownership of who you are and your ambitions and to take action. Aries is about taking action toward your next steps in your ambitions. Okay. So, for you as well, if you've had any wounding to your physical body, you've taken blows to your ego, taken blows to your physical body, this is when you're going to start the process of owning that if they've made you different in some way, your difference is good. The way you are different is not bad, it's actually constructive. And if there's been any self rejection, this is when you're going to start to just own it. Like, you know what? I'm good. I'm a cool person. I like being with me. There are aspects of my personality that are wonderful and amazing. There are things that I bring to the world that no one else can. This is when you're going to start to feel the pressure from life, from the universe, from the divine. Step into it. Own who you are because you are somebody's hero. Okay. Lots of self acceptance, lots of self appreciation, lots of self approval will start to come forward for you at this time. This is the invitation of North Node Chiron conjunct for the Aries and the Aries rising. If you have been self critical or living in doubt or constantly pestering yourself with coaching and correction, during this season, you're going to step into some self ownership and self mastery and release that there is anything wrong with you and anything to fix. Okay. Now, let's talk about the North Node Chiron conjunction for everyone who is a Taurus or a Taurus rising. For those of you who are under the sign of the bull, this is going to unfold your relationship with your intuition. So, whether it's claircognizance, whether it's clairvoyance, whether it's clairsentience, with for many people, if you're under the sign of the bull, it is both clairsentience and your capacity to feel information and truth through your physical body. Okay. Where you have looked at other people and envied their gifts when it comes to their psychic abilities or their ability to transcend self sabotage. And you've thought to yourself, man, those people, they always have it together. I don't know how they always overcome obstacles. They're never held down for long. Why can't I live more of a static free life and stop self sabotaging around certain things? This Chiron conjunct your North Node is going to give you access to your own capacity to live into your psychic ability. It's going to give you that go get them. You can do it from the stars. You're going to start to see how life values and appreciates you, not just you, but everything around you. And if you've somehow felt like maybe you were like psychically dense or non intuitive, this is the moment in time where you're going to discover that God, the universe, spirit speaks to all of us in unique ways. You're going to start to see signs, hear messages, get synchronicities unfolding in only ways that you can understand. In order to access these things, though, you're going to need to step into believing that you can get these kinds of messages, that you are worthy of being spoken to by the divine, that you yourself are a divine being incarnate. You're not left out of the psychic gift giveaway. You just have your own unique ways of using and receiving your gifts. And this Chiron conjunct the North Node for Taurus and Taurus rising is going to invite you to open your eyes to seeing what that is. Now, if you happen to be under the sign of the twins, Gemini and Gemini rising, for you, this is going to be very friendship focused and goal oriented, meaning what are the desires, dreams, and wishes, hopes of your heart in terms of getting those things fulfilled? Who are the people around you that can help you get there? And this is going to challenge you into stepping up into believing that you're worthy of asking, worthy of collaborating, worthy of somebody else's help and input, worthy of receiving your capacity to fulfill your dreams. Okay. If you've taken a look around your life and noticed that, everyone else seems to be able to get what they want, but not me, that season for you is over. Okay. Yes, you may be a little bit different than some other people. But that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And if you've been trying to quote unquote make up for that by giving away all your time, giving away all your energy, undercharging in your business, yeah, that's done. Doormat because you're different, over it, trying to trim your edges so that you can fit in with the other kiddos in the puzzle, finito. You'll also have some revelations about being good enough to have your dreams, like I said, where in your life, if it's felt, like I said, everyone gets to have it but you, that season is done. You're going to step into a season of ownership that you, yes, you, Gemini and Gemini rising, y'all get to have it all. Okay. Now, for Cancer and Cancer rising, this is going to be about your career. This is going to be about mission and purpose here on earth. This is going to be about stepping into ownership around your ambitions when it comes to who you want to be here on planet Earth, the story you want to be told about you when you leave. This is you stepping into your legacy era for you, not necessarily just for what other people can give, what you want to leave to other people or give to other people. This is about you starting to understand, you know what? I'm going to be real pissed if I leave Earth and I did not give this a shot. Let me do it now. Let me own that I have the power now. Let me own that I'm capable now. Let me get the education I need in order to do it now. Let me step up into my capacity to guide, lead, and teach other people with what I have now. Yeah, I'm different, but that doesn't make me worse. That actually makes me better. It actually gives me a competitive advantage in every arena I go into. And so this ownership is going to help you restructure and reshape your career life by recognizing that you have something unique that you and only you can give to the world, Cancer and Cancer rising. Okay. For Leo and Leo rising, this Aries conjunction of Chiron and the North Node is going to open up for you your potential. It's also going to invite you, if there are things that you have wanted in your ambition and your identity, but you need education in order to get, this is going to ask Leo, those of you under the sign of the lion, to put your pride down, put your ego down, put yourself in school, get the education you need, go get the information. For some of you, it's going to require that you reconcile your relationship to travel. If you've been a little bit more of a homebody, especially in the post 2020 years, you haven't really wanted to go out there and see the world. This Chiron and North Node conjunct is going to give you some access and invitation to step it up and be a person of the world, not just a person of your little enclave and the people around you. You'll also start to heal some of the challenges you may have had in your relationship to faith. So if you've had any issues with regard to, I believed in God, but God didn't believe in me, or religious rejection or abuse, or feeling like, higher education isn't accessible to you because, maybe you've struggled with learning in your lifetime or you're neuroatypical. This transit is going to invite you to put down the story of the wound and pick up the story of the wisdom and step into getting what you need to shine your light in the world, whether it's education, some travel, or more faith. All of these are part of what Leo and Leo rising are going to heal during this season. Now, Virgo and Virgo rising. You all are going to step into a season of complete shape shifting and transformation. For you all, the Virgo and the Virgo rising, sign of the Virgin here, this is about putting an end to one identity and stepping into another. There are some sacrifices that need to get made in the world of endings and completion so that you can go into the cocoon, do the disintegration that caterpillars do, because they don't go in there and just sprout wings and come out a butterfly. They go in there and they dissolve. I don't know if you knew that. Google it. Pretty fascinating stuff. But when you go into the cocoon, when you come out, you will be the beautiful butterfly that you always knew you had to be inside of your heart and inside of your spirit, the butterfly you knew the divine made you to be. So, Virgo and Virgo rising, if things are disintegrating right now, completely falling apart right now, if things are, and I'm not talking about necessarily in your world, but that could be part of it. I'm specifically talking about your own identity. If you feel like you're in the middle of an identity crisis and trying to figure out who you are, and aspects of your outer world are crumbling as aspects of your interior world are crumbling. This is because there's something new ready to emerge in your interior world that in the fullness of time will get reflected in your exterior world, Virgo and Virgo rising. This is your opportunity to release attachment to what you thought life was going to be and who you thought you were going to be in it. For some of you, it's attachment to your identity in a relationship, being so and so's husband or so and so's wife, and stepping into being your own person during this season. Virgo and Virgo rising, you may also find that there are some challenges with debt, taxes, loans, credit, mortgages during this season. As you move through this, for you, Virgo and Virgo rising, if there is something that is falling, let it fall. There's nothing wrong with you. Some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs have declared bankruptcy not just once or twice, but 3 times before landing themselves in a business that scored themselves billions. You could be among this group, but you've got to release any shame, any fear, any self anger and hatred that would lock you out of allowing the change to happen so that you can step into the transformation that's waiting for you on the other side. Libra and Libra rising. For those of you under the sign of the scales, for you, this is all about relationships and one-to-one partnerships. Where you have felt knocked down, locked out, attacked, undermined in the arena of love and commitment in romance or business, this is when you're going to start to heal some of the story that has allowed you to feel like maybe other people can have love and relationship, marriage, business partnership, but I can't. I have to do everything by myself. If you're a Libra or a Libra rising, this is your season to step into your independence in terms of being recognizing yourself as a self in relationship and healing any codependency you may have had or any attachment issues you've had, fearful, avoidant, anxiously attached, that have locked you out of having fulfillment in love and connection. If you are the type of person, Libra or Libra rising, who's harbored or fostered the idea that marriage is for suckers, it's for chumps. The only people who get married are people who want to be miserable. You're going to find that that story is going to start to get poked at during this season. You're going to start to see how maybe it's the beliefs you've held that have created your reality, not the fact that reality is actually that way. For those of you who have been on the opposite side of the spectrum, I'm only ever going to be happy once I get married. Life will begin once I'm in a fulfilling relationship. This is when that story is going to start to get poked, and you will start to find that fulfillment is wherever you're at. The grass is greener where you water it. And that if you are single at the moment, that does not mean that you are broken in any capacity. Building yourself up is what's going to make you attractive to a partner, investing in yourself, going after your ambitions, your passions, and your drives. Okay, Libra and Libra rising. This is your season for healing relationship wounds, whatever they may be, whether it's a traumatic background with a partner or a traumatic background and growing up inside of your parents' marriage. This is when you get to release those timelines and storylines and step into a story of your own writing when it comes to love and connection. Scorpio and Scorpio rising. For you, it's all about your health, boo. All about your health and your day to day routines and really figuring out what is it that you need to feel healthy and whole each day. For some of you, this is really going to be about dealing with food, exercise, and diet, exercise, and sleep. These are our foundational routines that lead to optimal health. But for others of you, this is going to be about that top layer of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, meaning and purpose, and figuring out what gives you a sense of meaning and purpose in your service in the world. Understanding how you can be of service to others and recognizing that you can be of service to others, Scorpio and Scorpio rising where you have felt it's very common for Scorpio and Scorpio rising to not trust other people, to want to go it alone, to think people are trash. I don't need people. This is when you're going to start to recognize you actually kind of do need people, and people also really need you. And it's going to open you up to healing any sort of relationship to rejection in terms of being of service or rejection when it comes to letting people help you. This is when, from an identity perspective, you're going to get the opportunity, Scorpio and Scorpio rising, to see that it's not so bad needing people and letting people need you. Okay. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. The Archer is in the house. We're going to get to Q&A as soon as we get to Pisces, so hang out with me. I'm going to answer your questions when we get there. When we get to right after we get to Pisces, so Sagittarius and Sag rising. For you, this is going to be your fifth house of creativity and creative works, creative offspring, creative drives. It's the fifth position from your sun. Now, for you guys, this is the period of time where manifestation is on a scale of 1 to 10 about to be on a 12. This is the period of time where you're going to start to notice that you can create, you can manifest, things are coming into form exceptionally rapidly. But trash thoughts create trash manifestations. Trash belief systems create trash manifestations. And this is when you're going to start to self-correct around some of those belief systems that have organized your life into experiences that you no longer want to have, especially when it comes to having undermining belief systems about you and who you are. Okay. If manifestation has been a problem for you in your life, you've seen other people kind of figure out manifestation, but you can't. You've seen other people figure out, creating things, but it's like coincidences just never seem to happen for you. This is the period of time where you're going to start to figure out what it's going to take in terms of a baseline belief about life that you are always creating, even when you don't mean to. And so, if you've been unintentionally creating things you don't want, Sag and Sag rising, this is where you get the opportunity to turn the ship around. And if you created the things you don't want, you can definitely create the things you do want. This is also a potent time for healing any inner child wounds that you may have. And if you have children of your own, this is a period of time where they might need some extra attention and TLC when it comes to their own identity and need some of that Sagittarius optimism. Maybe not so much of the Sagittarius put your foot in your mouth, but some of that Sag optimism and faith and encouragement, guidance and teaching, Chiron, that will really help them get into the space of understanding that they are more than what the world might be reflecting back to them. If your inner child or your external children need this, take this as your signal that the more you pour into yourself, encourage and have faith in yourself with that Sagittarius optimism, the more you'll manifest the world giving that back to you. Capricorn and Capricorn rising, you guys are going to be dealing with a healing in the world of family and home and where you live. Some of you are going to find out during this period of time that you're in a toxic home, like literally, like you got black mold in your house. Maybe there's a leak. There could be some sort of environmental toxin, like you got a tree in the back that's causing way too many allergies for you. Or you're just sensitive. Maybe you live near a wildfire area, and when wildfires kick up, it just debilitates your asthma, and you're recognizing if for me to thrive, I got to make a different choice. For some of you, it's going to be external, but for the majority of you, this is going to be about where, not just where you live, the structure or the neighborhood, and healing that for yourself, getting into right alignment around where you live. For others of you, it's going to be about healing family systems and really dealing with ways in which you may have felt deeply rejected by your family, deeply hurt by being wearing the black sheep label, and beginning the path of owning who you are, and that your difference is actually the leadership your family needs. It's the turnaround in the family patterns that your family needs. And so if there has been rejection when people have been unique or different, you've been, like somehow you're different religiously, your sexual orientation is different. Everyone in your family is a doctor, and you're like, no, I want to be an architect. Or it could even just be something as simple as, everyone in your family, I don't know, wears red shoes, and you're like, yellow shoes are the bomb. I like yellow. This is when you being you is going to liberate your family from some of the chains that have bound them. Now, for some of you, this is going to be about growing into a home and your own worthiness for either home ownership or stepping into the next level of having a home. Like, let's say you have been, living in a really small studio, and now you want to move into a one-bedroom apartment with a backyard for your dog. This is when you're going to be challenged to step up into your worthiness that, yeah, you can have that. Absolutely. 100%. You're worth it. This is your season to heal any wounds related to home or family in terms of your worthiness and identity, Cap and Cap rising. Aquarius, we're going to be talking about consciousness and communication for you. If you happen to be an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising, for you, the themes have to do with healing your brain, getting your mind and your mouth in order. especially if you've been one of the Aquarius or Aquarius risings who's prone to negative talking about yourself and other people, prone to complaint, prone to commiseration and tacit agreement with negativity about everything under the sun from other people. If this is you, this season is going to invite you to deal with any of those places within yourself where low self esteem has allowed you to talk negatively about yourself and other people. There's a saying that goes, you'll never be criticized by people who are doing more than you. The only time people are going to criticize you is when they're doing way less and probably way worse. So, where you have been in the place of perhaps criticizing others or putting yourself down, this is your invitation to step up, do more. You won't have so much time for negativity and self deprecation if you're actually in action and taking steps, if you're in motion. Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this is also a phenomenal time for you to do any type of talk therapy that you might need to, any type of online learning and education that will be constructive for you. In addition, Aquarius and Aquarius rising, if there's anything mentally in terms of your conscious health that you need support with, this is a great time to heal that and work with that. Okay. If you've got, one of these neuroatypical diagnoses, new research is delivered every single day about how to help people thrive who may have a different brain type. This is your opportunity. Instead of wearing the label as a wound and woe is you, step into your superpower with it and honor the fact that you're here during this time when these things are being discovered and shared, because there are solutions here. And we're also starting to see the superpowers of some of the neuroatypical folks here on Earth. You too have those superpowers. It's time to step into them. Now, Pisces and Pisces rising, last sign here before we get into Q&A. So if you have questions, I want you to queue them up and put them in the chat. And those of you who are members of Star Club already, I'm going to go to you first. You guys are hanging out in the Zoom room. I'm super pumped you guys are here. I'm going to ask you to share your questions with me first. Come to voice. We're going to do a little bit of dialogue and back and forth about what you noticed and what resonated. And then we'll go to the YouTube chat. Thank you, Star Club members who joined me today. It is awesome to be able to chat with you guys live in voice to voice instead of only in the one-dimensional type it out, limited characters YouTube chat. I'm so glad you guys are here. Pisces and Pisces rising. Money, 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 and more money. This is your time to deal with your relationship to money. I love this for you, especially during this season of high change and high transition in the world of finance for a lot of people, because we're dealing with self esteem, self worth, and self value and earned income. Pisces and Pisces rising people, this is going to challenge you, AKA invite you to step into owning you're worth it, baby. You can charge more. You can get that raise. You can find that job that'll pay you more money because, yeah, you might be a little different. But like I said to some of the other signs here, that difference is it's your game changer. It's your secret weapon. It's what's going to allow you to guide, heal, teach, lead, coach, train, facilitate for others what nobody else can do. Pisces and Pisces rising, this is your opportunity to get very grounded in the third dimension about the economics of spending and earning, and really give yourself permission to own you can make more, you can have more than what you've had. But in order to do that, if you have any limiting beliefs or stories about money, about money being bad, the root of all evil. I can, if you're financially anorexic, I can make it, but I can't spend it. Or if you are financially an overspender, impulse spender, everything you see, you got to have. I want it, I need it, I got it. Um, this is your time where you're going to be asked to bring those elements of your behavior into alignment, separate your emotions from your money so that you can have your money do for you rather than doing things to you. Pisces and Pisces rising. Where you have harbored, just generally speaking, low self esteem, Pisces and Pisces rising, just feeling kind of down on yourself. You are one of the signs that may experience some of that low self esteem more than most. Tenderness and low self esteem kind of comes with the territory with Chiron because the first piece of Chiron was being rejected, right? First element that I talked to you guys about. This is when the moment is going to come where you're going to get the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm just done. Just step out of it. I don't want to live the rejection story anymore. I'd rather live my intuition and divinity story. I'm also son of the divine, daughter of the divine. I'm also really awesome. I ignite heroes. Own this about yourself. There's a special gift, Pisces and Pisces rising, that you have brought to the people in your life and that you will continue to, but only when you shine your light, not when you hide and bury it. Okay. That's it for all 12 signs. I want to tell you again how grateful I am to be able to do this with you. This has been so much fun for me. We're going to turn to Q&A now. And like I said, I'm going to open with Q&A from my folks who are already members of Star Club. I'd love to hear how this resonated for you. And if you are catching us on the replay, definitely check out Star Club. This is your opportunity to join a 12-week community of people who want to learn, practice, and share astrology in a way that's going to strengthen your skills and abilities, get readings for other people, with other people, have me look at charts. It's the only place I'm going to look at your twin flames chart if that's something you want me to do. But this is also your chance to grow as an astrologer in a community of people who are other fellow astrology lovers. And the link there is in the chat, linked in the description box below this video. I will be adding tonight, as soon as I finish this, Star School 201 and 301. So if you want to go deeper around North Node Mastery, that's in Star School 301. And if you're ready to dig deeper into healing that Chiron wound, as a bonus to everyone who signs up, you will get access to the Master Your Chiron course, in addition to the Timing of Twin Flame Union course, too. Really looking forward to having you in Star Club, our 12-week community for astro lovers. Let's get into some Q&A. Hey, welcome to our current Star Club members. I see Elang's hand is up. Talk to me about your first question. What do you have?
Oh, hi, Kay. Well, maybe just to start, it's funny because I just completed 301 yesterday with you.
Yes, you did.
Literally yesterday at the same time. It was our last office session. It was wonderful as usual. You're so generous with answering all my questions. And we were learning about the North Node, pretty in depth. Um, and having listened to your discussion about Chiron and how it impacts the North Node, I'm so relieved because I would say I have this rumbling feeling, along with my friends. I'm 46 years old, and we've gone through enough in our lives to kind of know that there's something odd pushing us. And you don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because sometimes you have a feeling that you're going to do something, and it means, now we understand, it means asking you to let go of your ego, or sometimes there are going to have to be sacrifices that are going to be made. There's a little bit of destruction to move forward, right? So the fact that I guess the clarity that this rumbling and this internal push that I guess I feel, my friends feel, and I guess everyone who's listening to you would probably feel if they look deep enough, is a positive thing. It's a sign that to move, an invitation, like you said, to move forward, to evolve, because it's time. It's time to evolve. And so that's, I would say, the first thing. And the second thing is, it's so great to get clear uh kind of like guidance. Okay, you just take the 5 Chiron attributes and just inspire from those, and do that according to whatever house you're in, whatever issue you're trying to evolve from, and that's it. That's the recipe. Just apply it to you. But it's so I thought that was really I was really moved, and I was really grateful to have heard that, honestly, Kay.
Oh,
But
awesome.
but then,
Thank you.
as usual, I have a nerd question for you.
Love your cues.
My
Bring it.
Q&A nerd question. So it's a bit of more of an advanced topic. So
It's okay.
Chiron's transiting through the houses as you went through. So what happens when I saw in the chat Chiron conjuncts rolls right on top of one of your personal planets, like your moon or your Venus? I saw some people were commenting on that, or even your own Chiron, your natal Chiron. Is that like a booster? It just means you have to push more. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so people having like a Chiron return or Chiron talking to one of the planets in their chart.
Yes.
It's an added layer of nuance. And so let's just see. One of our sample charts might have something of that effect going on. Absolutely. Okay, so this is going to be really good. This is going to really illuminate it for you guys. So let's go back to Johnny Depp's chart. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the transit. So those of you guys who are not familiar with astrology, Johnny Depp's natal chart is right here on the inner wheel. Okay. So all of the planets at the moment of his birth are there. All of the planets in the now moment are on the outer wheel. Okay. And so we see the sign of Aries covering Johnny Depp's ninth house or ninth house position. The ninth house deals with higher education, travel, learning. It also specifically deals with faith, with hope, with optimism. And according to the Vedic astrologers, it specifically deals with the next marriage, the second marriage. So we know he's been married twice. 3 times could be a charm. But what's going to have to happen in order for him to get into that second marriage? We see Chiron in the North Node at the 17th and 16th degree here inside of Aries, literally sitting pretty darn on top of his Jupiter at the 13th degree of Aries. This is going to require him to heal from past wounds, perchance in relationship, which who could not have some after what he went through, but then begin to have some faith that it's possible for him, that even though he may have been wounded, he can do it. And this Jupiter, which is the ruler here of the element of his personality, which is faith, hope, optimism, expansion, growth. Jupiter is our opportunity bringer and our capacity to expand in an area of life. This is going to heal him so he can be ready to have love again. Now, I take that further. Those of you who have done Star School 301 with me, you know I practice what I call not North Node, sorry, house rulership astrology. Jupiter governs his 5th house of manifestation. If he's going to create anything good, he's going to have to heal any wounds to his identity, that's Aries, that have damaged his belief or faith in life and in himself. And that's how this impacts the original planet, the natal planet. Okay. Great question, Elaine. Thanks for asking. Do we have other questions from Star Club members? Star Thumbs, I see your hand is up. And I
Uh,
see Sam Kelty's hand is up. We'll take Star Thumbs and then Sam Kelty. Hey, Star
Hey,
Thumbs.
hey, hi. This was just amazing. I got so much out of your speaking to Chiron and the node. And it's been a real year for me, and it still is evolving, but it's hitting on all of those levels. And embracing the stepping up into a position of teaching and being in a place of not being negative, not letting myself have that luxury, so to speak. Getting help, yeah. It's easy to say. It's easy to say things that limit yourself. I mean, it frankly is. It's easy in a challenging world to say this is hard, and or I'm not doing that as well as other people, and perhaps not as easy for other people as it is for me. But it is something that I've been working on, and I've been working on a lot of areas. I am a Scorpio rising, so I've been working on a lot of those areas too, and having them laid out, the intuitive areas and the mentoring areas, and embracing my divinity, and it was really interesting to see that. One of the things that I think you probably just answered it in a way is that I have a direct, exact square to my Chiron, natal Chiron in Capricorn. And I think the only challenge for me is to try to figure out, it's in my second house, so for what I value. So I was just kind of trying to add that up and divide by the yeah, you have an interesting math feeling on me. I always end up feeling like I need to do a new kind of four-dimensional math. But I think the answer for me is embracing the connections and new beginnings.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. And
Absolutely
there's a
love
lot of new
everything
beginnings.
I have studied with you, and I've taken classes, I've had readings, and but this club, this ability to interact with others and to interact more frequently with you is just amazing. Got really I'm very excited by it, and I probably should shut up now, or I'll stop babbling. Because I have a Mercury next to my sun in Aquarius, so
Mm.
time to chill.
Thank you for joining us live today, Star Thumbs. It's always great to have you.
Love
And
you.
yes, lots love you too, sweetie. Lots of healing for you. Sam, we're going to go to you next. Welcome, Star Club members. And if you guys are here in the chat and you've got questions, definitely drop them in the YouTube chat. I'm coming to you guys next. So let me know if you guys have questions. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, okay, so my I'm a Cancer rising, and Chiron is in Aries, so that's my 10th house, and Aries is the North Node's in my 10th house, and so I know this is all about career for me this big year, and I feel it, right, and I'm like my spirit, my soul, my spirit is like pushing me to like leap, and I'm not ready. So I'm doing the work real slowly, and I've done a bunch of things already so I'm sort of leaping in stages. But I feel this like massive push to just do it. And I almost feel paralyzed. And so I guess my question is, is this my Chiron wound that's stopping? Well, I'm trying to heal this wound, right? But is that what's stopping me? That's making me feel so completely paralyzed in some ways?
Potentially, I mean, I'd really have to look at your chart. And I think you're one of the first people who signed up for one of the hot seats with me. So we're going to look at your chart fairly quickly. I think we're looking at it next week.
Yeah,
What house and sign is your natal Chiron in?
that's him.
Yeah. Okay, it could potentially be that. I'd also want to see the position of the ruler of your 10th to know for sure. Because there could be something going on with the ruler of your 10th and transits to it. There are a handful, it's not a lot, but there are a handful of people that I have read for this year where they have like there's definitely a change in the arena of career for them, but there's more information to come, where they know they're done with where they're at, but they don't know where they're supposed to go, what they're supposed to do next. There's between the eclipses, which I think will be significant for you because if
Yeah.
yeah, the Aries-Libra eclipses, and we're starting Pisces Virgo eclipses this year. Between the eclipses and the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which we haven't gotten to yet, but it's coming, there are pieces of information, events that have yet to play out that will guide and illuminate where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to do and free up their capacity to act. But we'll talk about this when we get to your hot seat if you want, because for me to really know what could be holding you back, I'd want to see who's talking to your natal Mars, which is your motivation and your drive. I'd want to see who's talking to the ruler of your career sector and passing through your career sectors and not just your Chiron. Could it be your natal Chiron? Potentially. Absolutely. I won't rule that out. But the fact that you're already feeling, Sam, this kind of sense of like, I'm ready. I have to do something. Like, I can't stay here, but where do I go?
Yes,
This sense of
yeah.
nowness, which we're all feeling, this urgency. It's almost like a pushiness in the atmosphere. Um, that is a function of all of these transits that I have talked about being significant for this year. Pluto in Aquarius, Jupiter Uranus conjunction. We've got Chiron conjunct the North Node. All of them working together as a team, trying to get us across life's chessboard. So I'll look at those next week when we talk and see in your chart and see how it all plays out. So glad you signed up for Star Club. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Other questions? Let's see in the chat here. Raven S in the YouTube chat says, I'm currently experiencing my 2D Saturn return in Pisces with an Aquarius sun. Okay, got it. How does the Chiron impact this transit? Everything is intense and I feel much internal intensity. Staying grounded. So glad you're finding ways to stay grounded, Raven. That's going to really depend. First of all, Saturn returns are periods of realignment, periods of coming into wholeness and integration, periods of time where anything that doesn't work for us, it isn't in our life stream in terms of where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing, we get poked, prod, pushed, pulled into doing the right thing for our soul during our Saturn return periods. And those periods are roughly in our early 30s, roughly in our early 60s. The experience of that push, pull, poke, and prod can last 1 year, 2 years. Some people, it's 3 years. It just depends on your speed of implementation when it comes to what your soul's here to do. So I would say for you, one of the best things that you can do given this, because I don't know your Chiron placement, Raven, and I don't know who Chiron is talking to in your chart. So I can't necessarily say how it's going to work out for you. Um, yeah, I would say that for you, one of the better things you can do is just take some careful notes about what I said for your sun and your rising sign. You have the Aquarius sun, so we know negativity. Like you can't, I love the way Star Club member Mylan put it. I don't have the luxury of being negative at this time. So that's really important for you to understand. Um, and really giving yourself some freedom and some permission to not be negative. Like to, I'm not saying Pollyanna. I'm not saying magical thinking, but I am saying be more meticulous about what you're allowing yourself to be fed and what you allow to go in your brain and what you allow yourself to think in your private time and in your private thoughts. But for the rest, I'd really need to see your chart, Raven. Um, M. Solomon says Johnny Depp and I have the same birthday, but he's 1 year younger. Wow, that's deep. Raven's that Virgo rising. Got it. Yeah, so for the Virgo rising, this is the closure of a season and a cycle within your life. This is the completion for you. There's definitely something closing up, definitely something opening up. But for that to happen, you're really going to have to open yourself up to surrender and not surrender in like a, no, it's surrender. That's the right word. That's the word I mean. You'll have to give up some stuff, some attachments in terms of your identity in order for this to be constructive for you. You may even go through a separation in relationship where you grow, the other person grows. And if it's right, then the two of you come back together at a later date. Okay. Good luck with your interview, Kylie. Great to have you here. Thank you for being here. Any other questions before we wrap up, either from Star Club members or from our chat here on YouTube? I'd love to see if there's any other questions. Happy to answer them. I love interacting with you guys live. It's probably one of the more fulfilling pieces of my work. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. And we're complete. Thank you guys so much for all of the likes, subscribes, and shares. I know so many of you share the content on this YouTube channel with your friends, with your family, for people who you think it might help. I always appreciate that. The one thing I'd really like you guys to walk away with more than anything else is the same way Chiron touched these heroes' lives and became what they needed that would allow them to become everything we speak about in the epics of their stories. You are that Chiron for someone in your life, and now is the time to step into that leadership. Such a treat to chat with you. As soon as you're ready and able, I'd love to see you in Star Club. We definitely have some additional seats available, but they are moving fairly quickly for the hot seats with me. It'll give you access to the entire suite of Star Club, Star School 101, 201, and 301, Astro Basics, Twin Flame Astrology, and North Node Mastery, in addition to our lovely Master Your Chiron. So we go much deeper into Chiron and the timing of Twin Flame Union workshops. We go much deeper into that. Plus these hot seats with me where I will read your chart, read a counterpart's chart, or coach you if you prefer some coaching. You can join for as little as $397 today. And that'll secure your spot in Star Club. Okay. Thank you guys. So great to have all of you. And I will see you. I think we have a lunar update that I'm getting ready to put out soon. So I'll see you guys in the next lunar update. Take great care, everyone. Definitely give the video a thumbs up. Bye for now.